What if healing people wasn't just a miracle, but something that could be grown, harvested, and reproduced? At first, it feels wholesome. A farm, a family business, a medical breakthrough that saves lives. Farmhand doesn't rush to complicate that idea because it lets the miracle sit there long enough for the discomfort to start on its own. Hey, welcome back. And if you're new here, hi, it's Asia. And today we're covering Farmhand by Guillory. The story opens on a modest farm at night where a brother and sister are trying to figure out what's been killing their hens. Zeke suspects a bobcat after noticing something has been digging under the fence, but his sister snaps at him for not fixing the hole their father told him to handle. Zeke pushes back, saying he was going to take care of it, and the argument quickly turns petty AF. When he tells her that if she's not going to help, she may as well go back to bed, Zeke notices something strange in the dirt. An eye. He realizes it belongs to their father and starts clawing at the ground to pull him free, but his father urgently tells him to stop and insists he needs to be left where he is. Zeke ignores him and grabs his father's hand, and the moment he does, red vines stick to his skin. His sister screams that she wants to go back to bed as thick red plant vines burst from the ground and grab her. Their father tells Zeke it is too late now, too late for all of them. He tried to change, but good fruit cannot come from a bad tree, especially one planted long before them, and those roots are deep and as black as the hearts of men. The vines twist into a massive, monstrous tree filled with bodies, swallowing the farmhouse whole, and Zeke screams himself awake. Ezekiel wakes up in a sweaty panic and tells his wife it was just a bad dream. They're already running late, so he moves through the house on autopilot, waking the kids up one by one, starting the coffee, feeding the chickens, trying to shake off the feeling that something is wrong. Before they leave, he reminds the kids not to touch anything at the farm, and they race to the car teasing each other like nothing in the world could go wrong. His wife checks in on him. It's a big day. She tells him just to take it as it comes, but Zeke admits he's waiting for the other shoe to drop. As they drive, she jokes they'll save it for the kids' therapy later. They arrive in a small town called Freetown, where even the business names feel strange. Mulatto Seafood, Sully's Gas with a sign that says we got gas. There is a man arguing with the older one-legged man at the bus stop. Inside a restroom, a handwritten sign on the restroom reads, "Wash your stank hands," which, fair, this bathroom is dirty as hell. Eventually, they pull up to the Jenkins family farm where a large sign reads consignment zone and no photos. They pull into the main building and stop at security. The guard recognizes Zeke as Mr. Jenkins' son and mentions how his father is always talking about his writer boy. Zeke looks caught off guard, but they're waved through and told to park and wait for the trolley tour. When it arrives, the family climbs in and straps on VR headsets. The presentation introduces Jedediah Elias Jenkins, once a humble farmer and family man, now the founder of what the company proudly calls pharmaceutical stem cell research. The video explains that while plowing his fields one day, he was struck by a sudden bright light that gave him knowledge he had never studied for. From that moment, he developed a blueprint for a new kind of stem cell research built around what he calls intelligent design. When the trolley exits the tunnel and the headsets come off, the spectacle is no longer virtual. Stretching out before them is a massive tree with deep blood red leaves and thick green limbs shaped like arms and hands. Roses bloom with teeth in the center. There are kidney plants, finger flowers being carefully pruned, nose tulips, and other growths I am not going to acknowledge. The guide explains that by interweaving stem cells with plant DNA, they're able to grow transplant-ready organs without expensive cultivation. The seeds are planted, watered, and nature does the rest. The family is visibly unsettled. The son asks if he can sleep with his mom tonight. She replies that none of them are sleeping tonight. Meanwhile, their daughter is fascinated and wants to arm wrestle one of the arm trees. They rejoin the larger tour group and see Mr. Jedediah Jenkins handing out green thumb candies to children on a school trip. One kid mutters that his mom says not to take candy from strangers, and this is all very strange. Zeke's sister spots them and alerts their father. The two men walk toward each other. Zeke comments on how old he looks, and Jedediah fires back that he's still a smartass just like his mama. And they embrace. Aunt Andrea scoops up the kids, asking if they miss her, and they dramatically go limp in her arms. Zeke introduces the children to their grandfather. Jedediah meets Riley for the first time and worries that Abigail might not remember him. We see a brief flash of Abigail as a baby with her grandfather on his arms, and with tears forming, she quietly says she remembers. It's a sweet, rare, soft moment. Auntie Andrea suggests taking May and the kids to continue the tour so father and son can catch up. They agree to meet later at the scout bush, which May says sounds great except for the scout bush part. Zeke reminds the kids not to touch anything, and Jedediah compliments how well they have been raised. As Andrea and May walk with the children, a man asks where the restroom is, and she casually directs him to turn right at the kidney patch. The farm has become tourist-friendly, even international. They pass visitors speaking French, and Andrea explains that people from all over now come to see them since the farm went public. The town economy has grown, but at its core, Freetown still prefers its slower pace. She expresses how happy she is that the family is together again. Back with Zeke and his father, Zeke notices the green thumb on Jedediah's hand and points out that he broke his own rules. Jedediah responds that someone had to. He admits that after Zeke left, he hit a dark patch. It's been 7 years since their mother died. Zeke says he wishes his father had reached out sooner, but losing his wife and then losing his son in a different way pushed Jedediah deeper into his work. Jedediah says he's proud of the good he has done, but he wants to share it with his family, and he apologizes. He wants to start over. Zeke agrees it will take work, but he is willing to try, just for no more secrets or surprises. Deal, he says. Jedediah gives him his word, everything will be above board, and as the two of them stand there rebuilding something fragile, we see that same intense child in the red shirt slip quietly into the nursery and development room, an area marked for authorized users only. The mysterious boy slips past a sleeping security guard and makes his way into the new growth section. He walks through the kidney patches and tears a finger plant from a branch, sliding into a mechanized compartment built into his arm. Security spots him and tells him he should not be back there, but the kid palms one guard square in the nose and takes both of them down with surprising precision. One guard yells, "It's a code purple," as the boy makes a run for it, only to be knocked unconscious by a much larger man. The big guy mocks the guards for getting handled by a toddler, while one of them insists, "That kid's a ninja." They rush off to inform Jedediah that there are weeds in the greenhouse, interrupting his conversation with Zeke. Jed excuses himself. Back at the scout bush, two local boys approach Abigail and Riley and ask if Old Man Jenkins is their grandfather. Abigail calmly asks how old they are. One says 8 and the other says 7. She turns to Riley and tells him that if he is that dumb at 8, she'll punch him. Riley, shaken, promises he will be smart. Zeke catches up just as the kids ask why people are calling their grandfather the devil. Abigail dismisses them as morons, and Zeke says his father is a lot of things, but he certainly is not the devil. And as he says that, we cut to the captured boy tied to a chair. Jedediah stands over him holding a mechanical arm. The boy screams in Russian, and Jed calmly responds in the same language, immediately unsettling him. Jed asks his head of security, Tiberius, whether the boy was much trouble. Tiberius says it was nothing. Jed studies the mechanized arm and asks the boy whether he lost it in the war or was born that way. The boy does not answer. Jed explains that this broken world is exactly why he began his research. The people who hired the boy do not care about him. He's a tool to them. They see the farm as a business opportunity. But Jed insists it is a healing center. His job is to make people whole. He calls Tiberius' name, but the man is already moving. He tears an arm from the tree and prepares it. The image is unsettling. Even as Jed speaks gently, he asks the boy if he wants to be whole. The child spits in his face. Jed calmly wipes it away and calls him naive. The arm is tossed to the floor and inches toward Jed as if it's responding to him. "My sheep know my voice," he says. He tells the boy it will feel like punishment, but this is grace. They hold him down as the base of the arm sprouts small teeth and clamps onto the nub of his limb. The boy screams as it attaches and begins to fuse. Jed explains that in 30 minutes, the arm will be indistinguishable from his own. His employers may try to harvest him, but it will do them no good. It will not stop them from dissecting him or trying to kill him, though. He suggests the boy find different work. When the boy asks what he wants from him, Jed looks at him almost tenderly and says he is just a child. He only wants to give him a chance to be one. Later, the boy is returned to the guardian he arrived with. The man is confused about where he's been. Jed casually explains that he took a wrong turn on the way to the bathroom and assures him that everything is fine. The boy agrees. Jed smiles and tells them to come back now, you hear? Tour winds down and the Jenkins family begins to say their goodbyes. Abigail gives her grandpa the biggest hug and he asks Riley whether he had a good time. Riley admits he was scared most of the time, but he thought the tractors were cool. Jed tells Abigail that if she ever wants to hang out, she is more than welcome. Zeke and May exchange a quiet glance at that. May hugs Jed and tells him they'll talk about it. As they walk away, Abigail asks how bad the cold purple was. Jed says it was the youngest one yet and that the boy slipped in with the field trip. They got too close this time. Trying to take a sample was foolish. He tells Andrea to keep her eyes open because the vultures are circling again. Later that night, Zeke and May talk through the day. May thinks it went well. There were no immediate red flags, and it clearly meant something to his father. For Zeke, it was strange. He has imagined the reunion for years, but now that it's happened, he doesn't know what to make of it. He asks how she feels about the kids helping out at the farm. May says it might be fast, but it's also a real opportunity, especially with college coming up one day. Zeke agrees, but he wants to move slowly, carefully. May wonders if he thinks his father is hiding something, if it has anything to do with Thorn. Zeke doesn't answer. He just stares ahead, thinking. She asks if they made a mistake coming back. He says no, they needed to save money until his next project starts, and the old house was empty anyway. That's not what's bothering him. She teases him, asking if Mr. Gloom and Doom just can't handle a happy ending. Zeke admits maybe he is struggling to believe a leopard can change his spots. May reminds him that he changed. He tells her she didn't have to go there. He asks if they can sleep on it. They've done enough adulting for today, and she agrees. He jokingly suggests unless she wants to keep it going, and she shuts that down immediately. They say goodnight, and the lights go out. Outside on neighboring lawns, we see signs that read Thorn for Mayor. The final images are quiet, but they are not peaceful. Blood is spilled across the table covered in farm schematics. There is crumpled cash, passports, a full FBI file stamped with Jedediah Jenkins' name. The guardian who brought the boy to the farm is slumped back in his chair with a gunshot wound to the head. The briefcase of money sits open beside him. And then we see the boy. He stands alone in front of a mirror. His nose is bleeding, and his eyes glow a sickly green. The arm that was grafted onto him pulses. Thin vines pushing through the skin like something is still growing. He stares at his reflection, having no idea what to do. Issue 1 of Farmhand feels almost inviting at first. It talks about healing, about family, about second chances. It shows you a farm that grows organs instead of crops and calls it progress. But by the end, we have blood on the table, a dead man in a chair, a child with something still growing inside of him. And the most unsettling part is that Jedediah truly believes he's doing the right thing. That's what makes this world dangerous. If you've enjoyed walking through this with me, let me know. And if you want to see where this story goes next, you already know what to do. I'll see you in the next one.